Thanks for joining me tonight. A couple things, especially if you're in the back row, there's a lot of little detailed things that are on these slides. And my presentation tonight in particular is about PPC being for everyone. I'm a big proponent of PPC. I also do SEO and pretty much everything else that delivers traffic to the Ace Cash Express website. It's obviously a remarkably competitive space. If you understand the payday lending business, it's a very commercialized space, and it's a very fun one to work in. It teaches you a lot really quickly, and if you don't learn those lessons, you have a tendency to go out of business. I am an AdWords certified partner. I run a side firm called RO Advertising, and that firm is a certified partner firm, as well as obviously myself. And in addition to that, I'm actually a graduate of the Kellogg School of Management, what many would consider to be one of the best marketing schools in the world. So these are the things I'm going to talk about. Ways to use AdWords, and probably a few of them you haven't thought of. Setting up a goal and how to do that, as well as some soft goals that I think are important to consider and to value as well, because they're good things to get. A little bit about keyword matching and how that works on the interface. If you've used the interface, this will be very basic for you, but if you haven't, I want to explain it a little bit. Identifying keyword seed. This is kind of where everything starts. Then we'll get into user intent and campaign. SEO, you identify that keyword, you may find one. So imagine you're in the automotive business and you sell auto parts. You find this keyword, Alfa Romeo Spider, and there are 22,000 global monthly searches on it and low competition. This is exactly like the gem keyword that you would search out, right? I can rank for this, I know I can do it. Probably in 2 weeks I'll be up and running. That's great, but it's going to take you 2 weeks to figure it out. And what you don't know is the commercial potential of it. So one of the things I recommend, even before you start building out the content for any of these gem keywords that you find out if they're commercial or not. If you make an ad or run a very limited test, in just a couple days you can know if you're selling your product or not. And that'll tell you whether it's worth the time and effort, so you don't burn the time, burn the links, and all the other effort that it's going to take to get a page that in the end may not convert. Another one I like to use is market research. Now this may sound, I don't believe in survey data. A lot of people, they send out that, at the end of the receipt, it says fill out this survey and we'll give you $100, and then you get that data and you ask them questions and it's like, was that outstanding or was that extraordinary? I don't know. What does that even mean, outstanding or extraordinary? And then you analyze the data and you probably end up with just as many questions as you started out with. I don't actually believe in that. I like to see what people actually do. So I use PPC for market research. I build a hypothesis and control, set people up in what I believe to be the case and what the current case is right now, and split test it. And then I can measure the actual response of what people have to say to things. This is an example of what I did. There was a domain we were looking to buy. I was in the dating industry at the time. And we had a very good SEO domain. High exact match, the kind of thing you could probably get some SEO out of. But we were considering a branded domain, something that would be more memorable and get people to come back more often. But the guy who held the branded domain wanted $40,000 for it. That's kind of a big decision, so you want to make sure that you're doing it right. We went out and we bought a domain that was very similar to the branded domain that we wanted to buy, basically an extension of it. We did ads for both sides. Branded domain ads, and then just the SEO domain ad, which we already had. We ran people to our, homepage, which was identical with the exception of the logo change and the domain that they were on. Then we measured how they responded to it. What we found was there was a 22% lower CPA in the branded domain. People signed up that much more readily because we were sending trust signals rather than this sort of dashed out brand, SEO type of domain. And what was even more important for the model in the dating space was the branded domain general broad match. Unless you know what you're doing, I would absolutely suggest get rid of that. It's just subsidizing Google's losses. Going to dimensions, this is an underutilized tab by a lot of people, especially if you're not familiar with what you're doing, go to your dimensions tab. There are so many things to navigate here, including your search terms. You can see the search queries you've gotten clicked for. There's some data scrubbed. You're not going to see the ones you got impressions for but didn't get clicks. So that's where you have to think through negatives very heavily that are unintended, like on bonds. That could be treasury bonds. Bond yields, and I wouldn't see clicks on these. So if I didn't put them in, I'd be going, what's wrong with my click-through rates on my ads?
Anyways, this is a great idea for new keywords, new ad groups, and I can even use it for new negatives. And you'll see on the slide, this is where you'll be able to put them in. I would use liberally, but thoughtfully. Quality scores, most of this is a walkthrough. If you're not familiar with quality scores, which I assume everybody here is at least to a certain extent, this is how Google basically rewards good ads versus poor ads. And a lot of times this has to do with unintended areas. This is how I'll go through the walkthrough. Basically, if you're going to improve, I would consider if you cannot get a click-through rate that is a good quality score on certain terms, it's okay to get rid of them. You don't have to make them all successful. Consider if in the middle of the night you can't get a good click-through rate, which is an easy place back on that Dimensions tab to go find. Or if this is, well, sorry. There's a place on the Dimensions tab that shows time of day, hour, day of the week. You change it in every single source you've got it for. Of course, there's a walkthrough of what you need to do for the manual location, which you can also do, and that definitely works. This is an example of a location extension. There's an address below the ad with a plus. It gives authority that you are a local advertiser, and the person can click on if they really want to get directions. This is the call extension. This is for smartphones. People are really wanting to call. This is where you want your call to, call now, call today, call us to get whatever. There is an option, and Google's really trying to push this, where they can have a call forwarding number. And there's actually a place on the Dimensions tab also, where you can see the stats on that. Whether the people, what they did. Did you answer the phone? How long was the call? When did